I'm not the biggest BYU fan, but I've watched this entire game. Look at how close that was. If he scored that, he would have been in. The teams were scuffing all night. It was just. This is why we watch college football, folks. These type of games. 9-0, 9-0. It's a shame someone had to lose. BYU came out the loser. It was an amazing game. It from start to finish. I mean, Coastal's just going to continue their magical season, undefeated. I don't think they're going to lose another game, and we'll see where they end up, whether it be New Year's 6, maybe just missing out on the New Year's 6. But in my opinion, this Coastal Carolina team's a playoff contender. You got to consider them as a playoff contender. Coastal and Cincinnati, now they should face off. Coastal's riding high. I picked this team to beat BYU. I've been telling you guys the entire time, this team dominated pretty much their entire schedule, just like BYU, against better teams. And I expected Coastal to get the win today, but fantastic game. It just was. This and the Notre Dame Clemson game are the best games of the year. I don't think you could choose one. I mean, both of these games are so good. I know this game didn't go to overtime, or it didn't. It wasn't. The score doesn't look super close. But basically, Zach Wilson drove right down the field. Didn't really have any time left. And if he had at least 15 more seconds on the clock, he would have scored and they would have won the game. I'm telling you right now. But it was a great game, and he threw it to number 5, I believe, on the offense. And it was just like the Titans Rams Super Bowl where he's like a yard short or 2 yards short. It was an amazing game. Yeah, it was just a crazy game. I mean, this is Coastal's first year going to a bowl, and they start off 10-0. It's just an unbelievable ride. I love this team. It's a great team to root for. I'll be rooting for you, Chanticleers, the rest of the season. So, good luck to you guys. I don't know who you play next, but I'm sure you'll steamroll. Coastal's just got to be careful. Same with BYU. I mean, this is such an emotional game for both these teams that they gotta stay focused and play their best football. Unfortunately for BYU fans, I think this knocks out their chances of not only making the playoff, obviously, but missing out on a New Year's 6, in my opinion. But I mean, both these teams had to gamble, and one they knew going in one was going to come out on top, and Coastal won the gamble, and they're moving on. And I mean, if they win out, without a doubt, they should get a New Year's 6 bid. I don't know if they will. We'll see, but without a doubt, they should also be considered for the playoff at this point. I mean, in my opinion, this team is at the level of, if not better, than Cincinnati. Since he hasn't had a signature win. This is Coastal's signature win there. So, yeah, like I said, it was a great defensive battle. And what won the game for the Chanticleers was, fighting in the trenches. They won in the trenches. That's what won them this game. That's what BYU hung their hat on, was their trenches. They had great offensive, defensive line play, and Coastal just dominated. I'm just gonna say it right there. They just dominated. Zach Wilson, great guy. I think he's a good player. I really do. I think a lot of people have. I think he's a little overhyped, but don't get me wrong. He's a good quarterback. So that's pretty much it, guys. Coming out with my next podcast episode pretty soon. But yeah, like I said, this is a great game. I think I haven't checked the score in a little bit, but I think Virginia Tech's keeping it close with Clemson. But Clemson's gonna win the game. Let's just be honest. They have enough talent to pull away. Bama is beating LSU considerably that game. is not going to be close. And then really the only other good game on today, I think, was, unless I'm forgetting one, it was the Auburn Texas A&M game. Listen, the only thing that's keeping Texas A&M, the only what am I trying to say here? The only thing that's keeping the Aggies above sea levels at this point is their win over the Gators. I mean, who knows? Maybe they can prove me wrong, but they don't have much time to prove me wrong here. They gotta dominate the next two games, or if I don't know what their record is, or the next one game. I don't know how many games you have left. You guys gotta dominate those games in convincing fashion, because I mean, just the Aggies just keep winning barely game after game after game. And I know Auburn's an above-average team. They were just in the top 25. But you see what Alabama did to Auburn, and then you see what Texas A&M did to Auburn. And Alabama also crushed Auburn. Sorry, they crushed the Aggies. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the Aggies expect. I know they got one loss, but they had that win over Florida. They just don't look impressive, and it stinks. You know, I'm all for getting new programs and new teams into the playoff. It's boring when you see Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Oklahoma in the playoff year after year after year. You know, even if Notre Dame gets in this year, it's going to be a new change. Notre Dame's not in it very often, but trust me, we'll start to be the bad guys. I mean, we already are the bad guys, but we'll start to be the bad guys once we get in there a few more times. But I just, you know, Texas A&M to me is just a pretender. You know, like Utah, Baylor last year, those were both pretenders. They just had really good records. They snuck out and barely won the games that they were playing, and they had like one good win. They had one loss. They're just not top 4 teams in the country. I think Florida is considerably better than the Aggies. Unfortunately, you know, I cheer on the Aggies, but I mean, they got to get their stuff together. They really do. Coleman just looks so inconsistent, and if I'm an Aggies fan, I'm worried. Because in my opinion, at this point, at this point, I have, if it came down to me either picking Cincinnati or picking Texas A&M, I'm gonna pick Cincinnati, and I'll pick Coastal as well. Cincinnati and Coastal, in my opinion, are better teams than the Aggies at this point. I believe they would beat a 5-3 Auburn by more than Texas A&M did. And I know Texas A&M overall played a pretty good game. I think it was 31-20, but I don't know. There's just something about Texas A&M to me that gives me the sign that they're a pretender. You look at the teams in the top 6. I don't think Florida's a pretender. I think they're a legit top 6 team in the country. But like I said, the Aggies are just all the way up at 5 because they beat a Florida team who has one loss, and Texas A&M has one loss too. But with that said, guys, that's pretty much it for me. I know I haven't really been doing the late night score reports, but I thought I'd do one here because just a fantastic game between Coastal and BYU. And I've seen one more thing. I've seen a lot of people in the comments of other college football YouTubers' channels saying, I hate that people are scheduling these games 10 years in advance. These quote big games when one of the teams are good, and then by the time the 10 years is up, one of the teams just isn't good. I totally agree with that. This matchup between Coastal and BYU came about because they scheduled it 3 days before the game. I know that's obviously not going to happen, but I feel like teams should come up with their schedules for the most part. Obviously, if a conference is different, but your non-con games for pretty much every team, I feel like you should come up with them, but right before the season starts. I know it's going to be a little chaotic, but I mean, like, you know, we have these games that 10 years down the line look so good. Like, I think Alabama's playing Notre Dame in 10 years, and we'll see if that's still a good matchup, but who knows? Maybe Alabama or Notre Dame's flops. So we'll see. I think Notre Dame has a huge non-con game with Ohio State coming up. My friend Caleb and I are definitely going to both those games. He's an OSU fan. They won big today, too. I predicted Sparty to win because I'm an idiot. But, yeah, I totally agree with you guys when it comes to scheduling. I think they should schedule it the year before, or, like, right before the season starts, actually. So, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for me on Jake the Sports. Probably see you guys on Friday for my Jake's Takes episode. I don't even know, to be honest, but yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.